And it's breathing. We are live.
Oh no, the
Hello,
Herbalife.
YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Hello, CSHR Radio. It's Sunday. Y'all know it happens on Sunday nights. Right here on CSHR Radio, we got Herbalations with Miss Jackie Hyde. And without any more ado, we're going to go ahead and turn the mic over to her. Here she go.
Oh, it's another Sunday. You'd think over time I'd have better topic planning ability by now, but one thing I have noticed is half the time I don't know where to start when I got ideas because I have them. I have the things to talk about. I bring them here. But that's just a stoner mentality, which is why it always happens to be last minute. Because every time I get something to talk about, something else happens. And then you're like, oh,
Welcome to
now
life.
that's all I can think about. So, yeah, there's that issue. So, I've noticed a trend, and in my country, I know it's different because the majority of everybody that ever tunes in and listens, you're all freaking American. But I mean, y'all have freaking gunmen running around right now, so that's always something fun to talk about. Up here, we got a
What you mean by
Twitter.
gunman?
Who the hell is that? That's a new one. Twisted Metal Performances.
That's Scott Jr.
Oh, hi, Scott. Hi, Junior. I see you.
What's up, Scott Jr.? You ready for your
Ah,
next show Wednesday night, Birdie? For those of you listening, Scott Jr. then took on a show here at CSHR Radio, and I just got a couple details about Wednesday, so y'all gonna want to make sure y'all tune in right here on CSHR Radio Wednesday night for Southside Live Music Special. And
are
our
we
new
excited?
host says he is ready. Let's go.
Yeah, no. I was trying to go through some stuff today, and I was talking through some of my topics tonight with some people, and they're like, "Yeah, well, they got some freaking armed gunmen running around the Appalachians, so I don't think anybody's gonna care about that." And I'm like, "But you know what? You wouldn't have that issue if it wasn't for drugs 90% of the time." Now, that's not me picking
Mm,
on marijuana. That's not me picking on crack. That's not me picking on meth. But I'm just saying, if I've noticed one thing,
if it
it's
ain't drugs, it's gonna be one thing. I mean, it's a people thing. Like, all right, that's crazy because like a lot of times when people like when I say I'm about to go here, I'm going there, like some people would be like, bro, you need to be careful. Yeah, 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 yeah. Man, listen, I'm not worried about none of that. I don't put myself in that type of, you know what I mean, I don't try and live in that type of energy. You get what I'm saying?
but that's why it's never been a situation for you. Like, yes,
I mean,
we've all had our toys with drugs. We've all had our issues with them, right? But never to the extent that you've decided that you're going to go shoot up a bunch of random ass people on a street. Not that you know, like it's never. And I've noticed that being a trend with the people that go into their teens or into their drug using stage or their alcohol using stage with a clear mind and an understanding of what they are doing, right? But then you get these people, like the person that has stemmed my thought process for the day today on what I was going to talk about, which is drugs in general, like what happens with them, the situation with people that are against drugs and for drugs, or people that could really care less and just understand that they have their place in the world.
well,
When
it's
you
more
got the
so hear me out, right? I really view people that blame things on drugs. I blame that he's using the drugs as a crutch. Do the drugs contribute to bad decision making? Of course. There's
Mhm.
no denying that. We can't deny that. Here's what I will say. Even at my most active state of using, I mean, any type of substance, I might have gotten angry or I might have had some ignorant thoughts, but there was always a counterbalanced thought like, Negro, you gonna go to jail. Like, hey, this is wrong. I'm super angry. Calm down. Like, even when I would spaz out, like, there was a limit to where, you know what I mean, like, I'm taking it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
okay.
I do, and that's and that was kind
Are
of like
you
a it was kind of
are
an
you
offshoot.
go ahead.
It was definitely a good offshoot. But what I was kind of trying to get into is, you noticed how the people that tend to be the naysayers, because yes, they make bad choices, like they contribute to bad choices, but they are just a crutch, just like people that use mental health for being a crappy person. Oh, I'm sorry that I mistreated you. That was just my bipolar. Oh, I'm sorry that I spazzed out on you and attacked you. That's just a trigger response for me because of past traumas. That is you just trying to excuse you being a terrible person. Because
Well,
I'm
like,
sorry, but
all these
everybody has
people,
mental health issues, but it doesn't
like
make them just down outright be a disrespectful POS.
like, all right, so I was in the conversation before, and like the subject of like every school shooters came up, and I gave the stance I just gave. And I'll say it like this: even with being bullied, like I might have did dumb things, but like I knew better. Anybody with common sense, you know what's gonna happen if you walk into a school with a gun. You know that's a death wish, right? You know you just committed suicide by cop. You know this, right?
But that's the thing. That is, so let's take into consideration the town that I most recently lived in and actually really enjoyed living in. It's one of the bigger known towns in our province because there was 4 Mounties shot down in that town. And this guy was really unhinged. They did claim drugs, but he was a drug runner by all sorts of means. He was kind of a bit of a questionable guy, but that was the only way he could pay his bills. Him and his friends were very well known in the area, but when he decided that finally he couldn't live no more, that was his decision. And he went out and he started a police chase beyond belief. And he stood on the top of the roof of his house and he shot down 4 cops until they finally took their first shot at him. And that is, it was his plan to go out that way. That was what he decided because that was easier than any other way of going out. But that had nothing to do with the drugs at all. Drugs played zero role into that. It was around his
I
life,
asked a
yes,
question.
but it wasn't that.
I asked a question with, and so many people would hear what I'm about to ask, and they'd be like, "Oh, here he go." Did this happen to be a Caucasian gentleman?
Actually, yes, it was.
Okay.
He was in
I'm just
his
going to
mid
speak from
30s.
the experiences I've had in life. I ain't never been crazy enough to pull any type of a weapon on a cop because I know if they even think they're doing it, they're going to blast holes in me like Swiss cheese. I'm
But that's also American cops' difference to Canadian cops, though. Even if it was a black person or a person of color here in Canada, they don't get treated the same. The United States is very special in their treatment of race.
and
What
I'm not
our system does have racism, but it's in a very, very different, more sneaky way. Like to this day,
now.
they still take away a Native woman's right to have children without her even knowing that they're doing it to them.
So obviously, I don't live in Canada, so I don't know nothing about Canadian police. But like when I say that, I'm not saying that you know what I mean to be stereotypical at all. Like I'm saying that of having an experience of. I'll give you an experience from one time. I went out to Boston. You know what I mean, like for this little rally event thing, and the day before the event, like the night before the event, so like I left at like 2 o'clock in the morning on the train from here where I live at. The night going into this, I went and DJ'd at an event. Got a bag of chalk and was just like writing like chalk tags everywhere I was going because I was leaving from Toledo to New York to Boston. I get to Boston, a long train ride. Next morning, I wake up, I'm out of cigarettes. All right, there's a store up the street. I'm gonna go walk through Boston and walk to the store. My goofy self take the chalk with me. And I promise you, it was like 4 cop cars for me drawing on the sidewalk with chalk. Like, what is this? every experience I've had like that, it's just always been like, yeah, I know better. Don't make no sudden moves if I want to go home.
Oh, that's absolutely crazy, and definitely I couldn't fathom that, and I'm kind of glad that we don't have that issue up here, if you know what I mean. I just wish there was no issues like that anywhere because it makes it a little bit easier to go on your day-to-day life. Now, that also being said, up until about 6, 7 years ago in the area that I live in, and I can only speak on my side because I haven't traveled Canada very much, but we don't have a lot of colored people. We didn't until recently. It was
Oh,
wild. Everybody in my class, in my school, in my school growing up, there was one black kid and one native. The rest of us were
oh
white.
crap. Skin folk, if y'all hear this, y'all really the minority up north.
Not anymore. Now it's the complete opposite. If I go and pick up my daughter, even though she is half native, she's very white passing. So that's what she's gonna have to deal with because the way the native racism within their own races, they really pick on white passing natives a lot because
Yeah,
they
brother.
don't experience life the same way, which is fair. They don't, but why would you want to take that away from them? If you know what I mean, like they're part of you, like you should still support them the same way. Yeah, believe it or not, Hoey, that is a phrase. It don't even. But
I don't even know what that means.
she is
So,
one. There is 5 little white girls and boys in her class. The rest of them, they are not white and they are not
oh,
native.
well, please, Hoey, explain to us in the comments what this term means because I am not going to lie to y'all. I ain't never heard the term white passing before. So, I
It's
wouldn't.
so you. It's a way to call somebody dirty blooded without calling them dirty blooded. Literally, Hoey.
They came up with a way to call people mudbloods.
Literally. Okay, because she is native, but she can pass as a white person in society. So that is what they call those people that are not, they don't present as their color, they present as white. So that is what people call my daughter because she's native, but she passes as a white girl.
Oh man, what is wrong with
I'm
these
so
niggas?
I'm
What is
sorry
wrong
that
with
I
these
had to
people?
teach you something new, but
Man, what is this?
so see, I find your guys' racism in the States funny, and you guys find our Canadian racism hilarious. It's great. I love it.
I'm just, hey, I guess I don't know. I guess it's not bad for everywhere for to be black. I thought it was a curse.
Like that's what I mean. Like it's like we don't experience it in the way that you got, like the way that you experience it with the police force and everything else day to day down there. It's very subtle up here. Like they do it in polite. They try to be polite about being
Oh,
racist.
no. Oh yeah. You just taught me as much as I've said I've wanted to go to Canada, I'm rethinking that because I don't do well with polite rudeness. I do not
Right?
do well with polite rudeness.
Because you
I
don't
do
know how
not.
to respond to it. You're like, I'm like, should I punch you
Oh
or should I
no, I
hug
got.
you? Like,
Oh no, I got responses, and my responses are cold blooded. I say things that are very sharp. That's like That's like one of them ones where it's like, oh, you trying to be petty. I'm gonna be even pettier.
I don't know. I came across it a few times, and then somebody said it to me at the school the one day when I brought up to the principal that it is a native school, but they don't teach anything or give correspondence in the native languages. They give it in Arabic and English. And I'm like, my daughter is Cree and Inuit. Why is there no English and Cree? Like, hello. Like, and they're like, well, she's white passing anyways. She doesn't need to ever learn it. And I'm like, oh, I just want to strangle you right now. Like, yo.
That's what they call them though, closet racist. So listen, And I got a unique way of dealing with that. Like, okay, something I experience a lot in life. It'll be like if I'm walking through a parking lot, somebody gonna walk past me and clutch their purse tight. Somebody gonna double hit their alarm. So I'm childish. Like when somebody do like that hitting their alarm thing, I'll look them dead in the face and tell them like, "Oh yeah, your car too new for me to steal. It ain't got no glow ring on it." Yeah, I'm that type of childish. Like I'm gonna say something to cut you back.
Hold on a second. Let me set my alarm off in my car real quick. He's in my car. There's a problem.
Oh yeah, but there's no glow ring in it, so I can't. I ain't the type I want to take.
I do have a glow ring in here, but it's Disney.
Is it a factory glow ring?
No,
Okay,
no,
then.
it's
So it
not
doesn't
even.
have a glow
It's a
ring.
stupid little. It's my
No,
daughter's
no,
little light
please.
ring for her phone.
No. I'm talking about like the factory glow ring where like the ring around the ignition glue. That's a glow ring.
Oh no, just my whole ignition glows.
Yeah, no, like around there's a ring around the ignition that glows. We call that a glow ring.
Yeah.
In
No, I get
other
what you're saying.
words, those
I have a
like
push start, motherfucker.
in other words, that was the era of cars where all you needed to start them was a flathead screwdriver.
I know. I miss them. That's what I'm saying. My whole ignition lights up. It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, see.
When that button
Awesome.
goes, guess what? Guess what? What happens if you get mad and you just punch that button? I'm fucking.
But
Anywho, sorry for the
that was in
beeps.
a past life. That was in a past life. I just use it for sarcasm.
But
Just
now
to,
redirection, because we're about to get pulled off Facebook for racism if we keep it up.
I'm confused. I'm confused. That's all. Like they say, if we
They won't
taking the
even care about the car theft conversation.
oh man, I don't know. That's different. I can't imagine that.
So I started my day out wanting to talk about the strains that I'm going to start growing because I went and picked up my pots and my dirt because I'm gonna
Ooh.
get things slowly started so that they're good to go outside in the spring because I would like to try outdoor growing. And that is still something I'm going to be doing. And then it came into the thought process on how people all of a sudden just use everything as a crutch to be a crappy person, which Miss Elise had a very valid point. There's this girl at work I know who's fully capable of doing her job, and she'll literally take 40-minute bathroom breaks, but they always want to bring up she has mental problems, and she knows better. And I've caught her in the bathroom playing her game on her phone, and she totally takes advantage of the mental issue she has. I
So
know men that do that, and they don't use mental health as the reason. They just say, I gotta poop.
so man, listen. I've always been that type, like, man, why people be monitoring people bathroom breaks? I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But here's what I'll say. I'm glad I don't work food service no more because I ain't gotta deal with that crap. Like I used to have to deal with employees like every 5 minutes you gotta go to the bathroom. Like, man, come on. I know you full of crap and it's because we busy. Get your tail on this line and help, darn it. Why am I doing your job?
Okay. I don't monitor people's bathroom breaks. Never have been that person. Because when I was a child, my teachers had an issue with me always asking to go to the bathroom. And that is how I got diagnosed with ADHD. They made me go see a therapist because I regularly would just be like, I got to go to the bathroom. And that's just because I couldn't sit in that damn classroom no more.
Listen,
I was like, let me out.
I was fried. And thankfully, like that was one of the good things my
Oh, dude,
mom
this
came
was
up
grade 3,
for.
4. I
Like
was not fried at school in grade 3 and 4.
I
Like
did,
this started in elementary.
I did not ask to go to the bathroom. Like I'm telling you, I'm going to the bathroom. Like okay, And it's gotten even more. I'm firm with that as an adult. And I'll explain. From experiencing incarceration, it is humiliating to have to ask to go to the bathroom. I swear to God, it is. That is a humiliating experience when you're having to ask somebody to use the bathroom. I'm not asking to go to the bathroom. Like, it's a natural body function that like my body naturally does. I'm going to the bathroom. That's just always been my thought process.
No, I always was taught to excuse myself from the classroom, right? So I'd always ask just because that's how I was, but it became an issue. Like they started getting mad and like all that. So like I've never thought to ever monitor somebody else's because like I was insulted that that crap would happen. You know, that somebody would be like, you're using it too much, or I'm going to tell you no because I think you're using it as an excuse. It's like, no, like that's, you can't start doing that because then like that's how you wind up with somebody pissing on the floor. You know, like you don't let me go to the bathroom.
Pee on this
I'm gonna
floor.
make a scene.
What? Try me and think it's a game.
Like straight up. But like, I mean, if somebody's using the bathroom too much, why do you why do you care? And, like they're adults and like, but I do see what she's saying though, because I've seen people literally like in my industry, the bathroom thing would never come up because we only use porta potties. And I mean, if you want to go sit in that porta potty for 40 minutes, all the power to you.
So I'm not gonna lie. My last two jobs before my current job, it really tested my patience with it. And like I would literally like, oh my God, I would have conversations in my head instead of saying anything to like an employee. Cause like I would be in positions where it would be like crap. Like it's a night where there's me and two other employees, and I got this one employee that then spent 3/4 of their shift in the bathroom while like, we're getting our tails whooped. So it's not like clocking somebody's restroom break, but like knowing like it was it was odd. It was awkward because for me it was really conflicting. I mean, like I said, because I'm not that type that cares, but then like I'm getting smacked with the flip side of it.
Yeah, I haven't worked a job in that type of industry in a really, really long time. Like I've been working trades for a long time. So it's always been porta potties or like, so like you never know when somebody F's off to go to the bathroom because it doesn't screw you around, really.
Now, maybe this is because I'm older. Maybe, I mean, this is because I'm older. I've always had that mentality, like even before I took, I mean, like management positions with them last two jobs, right? I was always that type of person, like I'm trying to keep everything kosher so I can keep the manager up out my face so I can do what I want to do. It seems like these newer generations are the exact opposite. Like it seemed like people expected, like, oh, you're the manager, so you're doing this and you're showing me how to do it. Like, no, do your job. Like, here, do your job. So it would be, I don't know, bad. Like, it was like weird because like I just got to a point where I was like, oh well, whatever, I don't care.
I haven't seen my manager in person in 2.5 months. I haven't talked to my manager on the phone in 3 weeks. If my manager calls me or I see my manager on site, there's a problem.
Thank
Like
you.
that is a problem. I should
Man,
not
listen.
I should not see my manager for any reason unless I
So
need
like
to.
that's why I like you. I mean, like the same as on gig. That's why I like it. I see my operation managers and my DSP managers in the morning when we're loading in, you know what I mean, where we're getting started. Well, because they have to give us like our van assignments and they do a stand-up meeting every morning. But like I don't see y'all, I don't deal with y'all unless I call y'all because I got an issue I can't handle or I need help with something. Other than that, I'm on my own.
No, we like if even when I've like done my shop work, like my manager had an office and that door was closed. So you would deal with your supervisor if you had to. Like my supervisor, I just text him, or my client, because that's the big thing with the industry I'm in now. My client is my supervisor. So I go and I report to so and so's company's supervisor and they tell me what they want. The only person I speak to is my dispatcher, and that is over the phone. Like, I'll go in and bug him because I'll tell you one thing. I adore my dispatcher. He's an amazing guy. And I love walking into that door and just being like, well, messing his day up however I can, or finding out how he messed up safety's day, because man, does that man, he knows how to get under safety's skin like nobody's business. And it makes my day.
I'm weak. She said, it's my day.
Well, literally, though, if you can piss in safety's cornflakes, that's the best.
I'm weak. She said, if you can piss in safety's cornflake.
There's one girl that I really don't mind when she shows up because she's actually done the job, and like, man, I get so frustrated at supervisors and safety representatives that have never worked a day in the job that they're in charge of taking care of.
Oh yeah, I can't stand people like that.
It's like, okay, you want me to do that? How about you come here and you do it? You show me how that's going to make it better for me.
Yeah, see, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. Like, I can't deal with having a boss that's never actually done it.
Yeah. No, it's better off that way, and then you don't have to worry about any of the added bullshit. Honestly. Still laughing at that.
I'm multitasking my ass off right now. Boom, all right. Sorry, yeah.
It's funny because every so often you do something and it causes it to echo back at me, and I'm like,
But I don't understand how, because I'm not on this computer. Like, I'm working on my other computer, so I don't understand.
I know, but it's so freaking funny. I don't know how it does it, but I laugh.
So Holy said, what strains you were growing?
Oh, hold on. Where is it? There it is. So I have been informed. So hear me out. I know they're not the best, like at all by any means, but I do want to get a strain. I can get my hands on a good strain of White Widow, and I can get a good strain of Northern Lights. However, the Northern Lights will grow better outside than the Widow. And I know White Widow will come out the best. It's a more sturdy plant all around. Like a lot, especially the strains I smoke anyways, an indica plant will always grow a little bit more sturdier than a sativa. So yeah. Basically I'm gonna go with classics, just super easy. Toss them in, get your grow lights in, and like if I start prepping and getting everything set up, get them sprouting, they should be at least a decent height to get them outside so that it's not too bad. I'm just kind of been basking in it and thinking about it. So I was researching it this morning a bit more because I've grown before, but I've kind of done the just basic, like I got a whole closet, lined it in reflective paper, put lamps and fans and crap in it. And that's how I grew, was in a closet. And I didn't care about anything else. I didn't add anything to it. I added fertilizer. That is it. I fertilized the dirt and I repotted them. And they came out wonderful. They came out beautiful. But the ones where we just threw the seeds outside, they grew the best and produced the best plants. And that was more of like just your standard cheese. That's what we grew outside, was cheese. You can never go wrong with cheese, though. What about you, Max?
I'm not growing nothing. It is it is very illegal to grow here. I'm not growing nothing. I'm just gonna go buy it.
I enjoy buying it, but I'm hitting a point where I just need more plants. And like I'm gonna be 100% with you. If I could get a little shed and just build my shed and have like a shed that's just weed plants, and that's like my smoking shed as well, like oh, just surrounded by plants. And I'm gonna stink. I just realized how bad I'm gonna stink. Like if I just sit in it every day.
A little pot shop. That's right.
No, it'll be a little pot shack.
The little pot check. And Hoey, you do make a great point. You're absolutely right. The sun is way more powerful than any lights, and also does obviously you get UV light from the sun.
You just can't control the height at that point. And that is one thing when you're growing in confined spaces. You know, kind of got to control the height because man, those trees, they and I call them trees because man, those things grew to be like 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. By the time fall came around, like they just took off. And the goal was to let them grow yes. I know you got to top them. I'm aware topping works well, but the goal was for a full natural growth just to see what would happen. And I'm telling you what'll happen when you leave them to their own devices. They're like weeds. Treat them like weeds. Like literally.
Weed is like weed.
Like I'm growing multiple different plants inside of my house that are not weed related, and I'm learning a lot about. Sometimes you got to ignore them, you know? Something getting high off Jackie. Wow. Okay. You'll have to just literally sniff it. You'll just be sniffing it. Start sprouting weed plants.
Yeah. For those of you listening in, we're talking about grow operations.
Max is not included in this conversation for legal purposes.
Legal disclaimer, I am just facilitating the conversation. I am not planning on growing anything.
No, just Jackie is, because Jackie doesn't have enough plants right now. I've got like 4 ivy plants, and I love my ivy plants. Like they're actually really starting to string down now. I'm able to start like pinning them around the walls. Great. I'm wondering if I can just start pinning up marijuana plants around my house too, though.
She should just pin them up. Pin them up. Pin the plant.
Oh yeah.
Plant.
Winter tomatoes. Yes.
You heard it. You heard it playing. You heard it playing pin the tail on the donkey. This is pick a stem off a plant.
Hoey, you forgot an E.
Oh.
It's tomato, like a toe. TOE.
And if you're in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, make sure y'all go check out Bob Sanchez's music shop at the corner of
Florida.
I was waiting on you to finish it.
Dude, Junior, why did you take off? This is where we needed you, man. Junior, you know where this is at.
Okay.
We're paging Scott Jr. Paging Scott Jr.
You know how hard it is to remember where somewhere is where I don't live.
I always want to say Florida and Sharp, but I think it's Florida and Maine. I Googled
Anyway,
it last time because you can
keep
Google
in
it.
mind, I am not from Louisiana, so I can't remember the location. But man, go holler at Bob Sanchez and tell him CSHR Radio sent you. Oh man. Tomatoes.
I don't care. I just had to pick on you, okay? I could give a crap, but somebody needed to give Hoey trouble. We all butcher the English language according to the people in the UK, though. So,
I mean, I don't know. The more I've been listening to more and more UK music, they talk different. They talk different.
yeah, but it's good different.
Oh yeah, I ain't saying nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it at all. It's just different. Like sometimes I'll be listening to stuff and I'll have to like rewind and really like be like, hold on, what the heck did they just say? Been a couple
Oh,
times I had to pull Google out, like, what did that mean?
but it does depend where in the UK they're from, because like my granddad, he like with his Welsh accent, a lot of the time I couldn't understand some of the stuff he would say at times. I had to like take a second listen to him. And then like he had some friends that were Cornish, and like that's just not right. It's just not right.
What is women? Only thing I've ever heard the word Cornish used with is Cornish hens. So what is Cornish?
Where they're located in like in England areas, like they have different
Huh.
names for different regions. Yeah.
Like I've only ever heard of Cornish hens. That's what I was like, huh?
I grew up around it, so I like listen to it from people all the time. I'm just like, but depending on the British accent or the UK accent, I can understand them really well, or I tune them out because they sound like my granddad, and I'm like, wow. No. But yeah, I'm extensively high. I got some infused doobies, and like, man, they're really good. Whoever thought to start mixing diamonds into pre-rolls was a genius.
Sometimes I've had a couple where it was disappointing, but usually they're very good.
Especially the one that does like the vanilla root beer in a blunt. It's so great.
That's doing too much. I am a firm believer, like I'm a plain Jane smoker. Just give me a plain Rello or a plain paper. Don't bring me no flavored Rellos, no flavored papers.
The plum paper's not flavored. They actually have a root beer strain of weed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then they use vanilla diamonds. And they mix it together.
I don't want to taste root beer when I'm smoking. I want to taste marijuana.
It doesn't taste like root beer.
I'm confused.
It doesn't taste fully like root beer. They claim that it does, but it's like the vanilla overpowers it.
Yeah, I don't want to smoke vanilla.
I do.
Want to smoke gas, not vanilla.
You know what? I'll just keep all my blood oranges and all my berries to myself too then.
If I wanted to smoke vanilla, I'd get
but vanilla. The terpenes that you get from vanilla, it actually also boosts the high. That's why they've started using some of these. That's where you're starting to get some of these flavors too, though. Is from the actual like them using like the peels in the growing aspect of it that gives it that added terpenes, which also sometimes adds flavor. So a lot of the time, that's why some of these lower percent, like for people that do shop at dispensaries, what they're always missing and forgetting is Yeah, people come in and say, "Hey, well, I just got this 18% and it hit way harder than any of that 34, 35% THC stuff you guys have been selling." It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, but look at the terpene content that is actually in that 18%
yeah. So like,
because those
I
terpenes
don't,
will boost it.
yeah. So I don't go by like the THC. You know what I mean, percentage. Like when I go to the dispo, I like the fact that like they pull the jars up to you. You can shake the jars and smell them. Like I know what I'm looking for. So it's like, nah, this ain't gonna cut it. No, I don't want that. You get what I'm saying? Like I've seen people that, you know what I mean, go and they go based solely off the THC percent, and like they've been disappointed. You
Well,
just spent $70 for an eighth that was Snickle
you
Fritz.
got to keep in mind that a lot of the dispensaries here, and due to a lot of our liquor board laws and our weed laws up here, yeah, it's all legalized. A lot of the stores, they actually can't have it out on the counter anymore.
So like, okay.
So when you go, all you're seeing, they'll have shelves and shelves full like this, all
Oh
the
yeah, see, I
cases.
could come shop up there. They couldn't get my money in.
You
See,
could
that's why I
shop
like
at the res ones, the res stores. They have the jars with the sniffers and stuff now still because the stores that are run by the indigenous groups on the res, they don't have to follow the same laws as the people that are not there.
okay, yeah. So see them I can shop with. Like I need to
Oh,
see
their
it.
weed is way better too. Way
I need
better.
you to put the jar in my face. I need you to be able to shake it up and let me get the whiff of that aroma. Let me see what them buds is looking like. Like let me
Actually,
see and
what I just
smell
smoked.
it before I smoke it.
Yeah, the
But
blood
like,
orange had blood orange, peach, cranberry, or yeah, blood orange, peach, and cranberry terpenes in it. It's really good. But blood oranges are delicious in general.
they're trying to make it a balanced diet when you smoke. Oh, you're gonna get all your vitamin C today when you smoke your blunt.
Actually, the blood orange has that CBH or CBG in it, so it
Oh,
doesn't give you the munchies.
man, what? Man, what is time out? What is y'all smoking? What is wrong with y'all? Why would you not want the munchies? That's part
Because
of smoking.
I smoke all day right now. I don't need the munchies all day. I don't
So,
need to be 300 to 400 pounds by the time I
oh
go back
yeah,
to work.
see, thankfully I get it from my mama, and I ain't got to worry about that because I got
I got to worry
time
about
by
that because I will kill a box of cookies every night. I go in and I'm like, I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to eat the cookies.
listen.
I'm not. And I grab that box
Mm,
of cookies and I sit down and I freaking eat them all.
let me feel like going to eat some cereal. The cereal bowl is the 1 pound butter bowl that's been now reused after we emptied it. I will eat 4 of them bowls of cereal in one setting. I am
Yeah,
a
no,
fat
you eat
kid
until there's no
trapped
milk
in
left. You
an
keep
anorexic.
dumping the box in until there's
I'm
no
a
milk
fat
left.
person trapped in an anorexic's body. Why would I ever smoke and not want the munchies? That is disrespectful.
And that is you. But I
Mm,
have to go to the gym. And I'll tell you one thing, when I go to the gym and I get working out, all I can smell is weed from my sweat glands. It is so bad. Like, I took a break. I'm
mm.
going to go back again soon. And I already know, man, I'm going to be sweating out so much weed. There's a reason people don't work out next to me.
So thankfully, my whole life I've really had like a high metabolism. So like stuff like that's never been like in my experience. I ain't really had to go work out.
Max, you also grew up in Mexican brick days.
I sure did. Look, man, hold on. Let me keep it a book. I grew up before I was smoking before it was all these different types. Like, well, they blew my mind when they started coming out with all these different strains. Like, oh, what is this? Oh, what is this? You absolutely right. Starting out as a young lad, I had to smoke some Mexican brick. Ooh,
No,
ooh.
I remember way back when we all first started, like when I first started smoking, when I was about like 14, 13, 14, because my mom started giving it to me. And you just buy whatever. You know, like whatever the dealer had that day, it was just you. That's what you got.
Oh God!
There was
Like I
no
remember
asking. There was no seeing what you got. And then as the years went up and I hit like my mid-20s, all of a sudden that's when shatter started becoming the huge thing, and people started like making shatter and all this, that, and the other thing. And like my dealer would show up with like different pouches of shit in his backpack, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Where did this come from? What do you got? What? He brought a whole freaking store in his bag one day. It was hilarious. They started coming out with syringes too.
Yeah, all that.
Like I was running out of money every time he showed up. Ah, but you don't get that no more. You actually don't get. I haven't gotten seeds in my weed in years. Because that used to be my favorite thing, is trying to see if any of them were any good when I'd get them.
Oh yeah. So nowadays, if I get a bag from you and it got some seeds in it, oh, you giving me my money back. I need every bit of my money back.
That's a cute puppy.
He is not a puppy. We got him as a
He's
full-grown jerk.
always a puppy. He's always going to be a puppy. His whole life he's going to be a puppy.
He's a jerk. That's what
Yes.
he is. He is a jerk.
No, my dog will always be a puppy. He's taller than the damn counters, and I still call him a puppy.
All right, bud.
They've tried to make me call him a bear a few times, but I refuse to call him a bear.
I'm being an attention whore right now.
Those are some good scritches, though. No, I haven't gotten any. It's been super disappointing because now I have to buy them. And that's why I'm saying I get to pick my strain that I get to grow, because I actually get to place an order for seeds. And man, they are charging a pretty penny for certain seeds these days.
If
Like,
everything costs.
like even just from like the actual like there's people that just sell like seeds and stuff like that. Like they're not actual like dispensaries or anything like that. And even them, like they're selling their seeds for a decent price. I'm like,
Everything cost. It cost. Inflation.
I miss the 420 events, because like when I used to go to those events, I'd walk out of there with so many different seeds because they would just be handing them out, like just bags and bags of seeds.
Ugh. You know, it's
Their whole
crazy.
seed banks, yeah, but it still costs a decent amount, even through them, because up here they don't just do it for free or by trade. And I mean, I got nothing to trade with it. I can give them clippings of a monstera.
What's a monstera?
It's one of the really popular plants everybody wants these days, with the big, huge leaves, and they got the perforated, like the big perforated leaves. I'll post a picture in the chat later because mine's growing pretty nice now. But I love that plant. That plant's going to grow to be about 4 meters high if I want it to. But I have to plant it outside for that because
I gotta do some math real quick because over here in the States, we don't use, like, when we're talking about height, we don't use meters as standard. So I guess
that's like 12 feet.
okay. Wow, that's a bit tall.
But you have to plant it outside for that. And like they grow, like they'll bush out, like their leaves. Like there's pictures where people use the leaves as umbrellas.
Those some big leaves. Some big strong leaves.
But like I said, you do gotta, like, at that point you gotta be planting them outside. If you keep them inside, they grow they'll get to be like 4 feet, 5 feet tall, but you're stunting their growth at that point. Genetics. Yeah, I'm not looking at going all out like that yet, Hoey. I'm wanting to just go growing outside and just playing with it. I don't have ideal growing conditions right now, but I'm starting to get all cheesed off because I was supposed to have plants already, and somebody keeps flooding me with pictures, and I enjoy them very, very much, but I keep seeing them and I'm starting to get bothered. I need plants. I need to start saving money on how much weed I buy. I've been calculating it, and I'm getting close to like spend like $50 a day sometimes. So I need to kind of reel it back in. But oh, that's another lovely Sunday.
Yes, it is Sunday. I'm glad this Sunday is over.
And I actually have to work tomorrow. It'll make you sick when you add up the cash you spend on smoke. It does to me. Yeah, it does.
Considering the cash I've spent on other things, I don't mind the cash I spent on smoke. I'll put it that way.
I keep looking at the cash I spend on smoke and going, if I spent that on something else or didn't spend it and actually like saved up to buy what I should have been buying, I'd have a lot more pretty toys. I probably have a passport by now. But I spend all my money on weed and gas to drive around uselessly.
Speaking of spending money, yeah, I think I've decided I'm going skydiving. I'm going skydiving.
What?
I'm going skydiving.
Oh god, I've been wanting to do that, but I don't want to just go skydiving though. That's the problem. Is I actually want to pay for the courses so that I can get the ticket to go skydiving by myself. Screw having a babysitter. Like fuck that. Skydiving would be an exhilarating experience. I was halfway to getting my pilot's license though. I have been in the air. I've never skydived, but I have flown a glider. You know, there was a time where I wouldn't have agreed with you, but I kind of agree with you because there was a moment where it was like, the adrenaline, Hoey, the adrenaline and the views. There's a lot of good reasons. I mean, if you learn how to do it to a certain extent, you can actually like start looking at free falling, and that's a good one to get involved into. Jumping out of a perfectly good airplane without a parachute.
Oh yeah, yeah, buddy. Well, no, because after so for me, I ain't gonna lie. I spent yesterday, like testing my resolve of my fear of heights with like the 2 rides that I've literally took a year to work myself up to hit. I got on that ripcord and I got on that slingshots. That ripcord, that was a bit trippy. I mean, like getting hoisted up on the tower, pulling the cord, like it was crazy. But that slingshot, oh, whoa. Getting shot up 360 feet in the air in this capsule that was like flipping around was like crazy. It was fun though. Like after that yesterday, I want to go skydiving.
So when I was younger, I started working on my fear of heights. And it went through like quite the little loop. Like it even started with like water slides. Because I think about like I was like 9 or 10 and I couldn't even stand like getting up to the top and looking at the sky. Like in West Edmonton Mall, the water park, they had what was called the Sky Screamer. And it's one of those like straight drops, like all the way down. And I cried before they dropped the floor out because they had a little floor plopper. And yeah, the minute he pulled the button, I actually cried for about half the way down, and then they got the picture of me just like screaming as I launched off. Why would you do that? Oh God, yeah, that was wild. That threw me off.
Me too. I forgot that I went to like hit Joey's comment and I forgot that I ain't got my mouse.
I was just like, oh,
I did not mean to do that. So
maybe relive it. You scared the shit.
listen, boy, I
I'm too
wish
high for that.
I wish I'd have had the money yesterday to buy my slingshot reaction video. Oh, it was comedy. My reaction video was comedy. Like, oh my God. If I had it, I couldn't play it on CSHR Radio right now because I was cussing up a storm.
So, you know what's wild though now? I think something happened in my old age because I stopped going on rides for a long time, and my daughter managed to convince me to go on the Drop Doom about like 6 or 7 months ago with her, and we got to the top, and in the picture you can just see in my face that my stomach was still up at the top,
Oh, so it sounds like the power tower here.
and I was like, "Whoa!" Like my stomach has. I used to love this ride, and my stomach don't like it no more. So I know for
So
a fact when I go skydiving, my stomach's gonna stay in the plane again. And so I gotta work my way up again.
so I'm gonna guess that one tower shoots you up, like shoots you straight up, and then one takes you up and then drops you.
Yep.
Yep. So here it's called the power tower. I'm not gonna lie. I prefer just getting shot up. I don't know. It's something about going to that top and sitting for a second every trip. Like, wow, you mother fricker.
Oh no, it shoots you. So it starts at the bottom, and they call it the space shot, right? I call it the drop of doom because that's what the one at Marineland was called. But whatever. So it shoots you all the way up to the top, and it holds you up there, and then it drops you down halfway, and then it shoots you back up. And it just bounces back and forth there until it just drops you all the way down. It's wild. I still love it, but my stomach hates it. Like it's a battle of the brain and the stomach.
So like now that slingshot, I ain't gonna lie, that slingshot then took my favorite ride position. I ain't even gonna lie, that then took my favorite ride position. But like we got a ride called the Val Raven. That one's trippy too, because like you hang over the edge and look down for a minute before you drop, and it's like, oh, whoa. Like they hang you over and you're looking down, you just like drop 90 degrees. Like, oh wow, right angle.
No, the space shot, it never was my like number one. My number one, they actually took the ride out like 6 years ago. And they called it the solar flare. And they had wingsuits on the front and the back of it. It's kind of like one of those boat rides that just swings you around real fast and then back and forth. But the two wingsuits, you're standing up, like you're just chest seated in, and it's got the little kites behind you, and you just stand on this little piece and it goes around. So you're at the front. And that was my favorite ride because I loved the little kite because it was kind of like you were just flying. They actually
I
had to
think
build the building around that ride. So the building like had a whole arch over it with a sunroof, like with all the So you could actually see the sky when you got up. It was cool.
That sounds cool as crap.
Kind of small, but it was cool.
So, what do you got planned for the viewers for next week? What you stewing up for them?
Oh God. I don't know. I think I've been debating on doing a blast from the past smoke devices, because I've been
Ooh.
kind of noticing people talking about them a little bit. Somebody's been trying to bring back and make those youngins realize how good they got it now.
Ooh, y'all hear that? So y'all know what to do over the next week. Put y'all thinking caps on. We're gonna start a post, and we want y'all to weigh in on what y'all think some of the most awesome and clutch black throwback past from the past smoking apparatuses were.
And I'm gonna do you guys one better. For every recommendation that gets more than 2 votes on it, and if it's plausible, I'll build it.
Ooh,
Because
ooh.
I am going to. There is a couple that I'm gonna build just because you can't do old school, you know, interesting stoner rigs that we've built out of random things. And we're gonna test them.
Ooh, y'all got some homework for the next upcoming week CSHR Radio.
Yeah, we're gonna get really high next Sunday.
Yeah. Well, y'all, it is 10:01 my time. We've hit the hour and 1 minute mark.
You guys
It's
have a
been,
great night.
it's been a great Sunday. We're gonna let Jackie sign us off.
Yeah, in case I'm signing you guys all up for religious text messages because you're all sinners. Thank you, Max, for that. And yeah, if you're not smoking weed, start smoking some weed and chill out. Come see you guys next Sunday to get extra high. Bye.
Yeah, it's okay.